Greetings, Force of Will Universe. All Hallows Eve draws nearer. The time of darkness is almost upon us. Being that as it is, I, Dark Rizio, have deigned to bring you the darkest of rulers in this week's Ruler 101. The hand thing is contractually obligated. But in order to discover who that ruler is, I have brought the big book of evil nastiness and all that is bad. Let us open it and see what lies inside. A blowtorch. It's not bad. Could have been a 4 on the evil scale. Could light someone's house on fire. Very careful. Empty. Next, we have stale crackers. It's like a 1. Come on. Ah, something truly wow. Oh my god. It's a Lorite. Not even I'm that evil. Ah! At last. The ruler of all that is dark. Abdul Alhazred. Also known as the Ebony Prophet. A ruler so dark and malicious that he can call forth hordes of slavering
would you like some soup? I made some soup. I also bought those hot pockets you like. Would you like me to microwave?
Mother! I told you not to interrupt me when I'm channeling the powers of darkness. You could be swept away in a void.
You're not playing with my makeup set again, are you? You're 38.
Nonsense! Foul woman, be gone from me!
Don't talk to your mother like that.
Sorry, Mom. But anyway, let's get into the ruler. Ebony Prophet, a darkness ruler of the Prophet type. J activate for darkness. Play this ability only if you control Grus Ballesta, the Sealing Stone. We'll get into that card later. But he also has another J activate. Pay 2 darkness and 1. This makes it so that you don't have to have the stone to J activate, which is good. He also has an activate ability, like many rulers of his time. Target Resonator gains minus 300 until end of turn. Now, as a rest ability, it's not too useful on your J ruler. However, if you combine it with Hoel Pig or Flute's Water Dragon and don't have to worry about calling stones, then you can truly get diabolical. But let's look at his J ruler side, which makes him the very greatest. See, this Ebony Prophet becomes Abdul Alhazred, the Harbinger of Despair. A wizard J ruler, attack 1000, defense 1000. For the time, these were enormous. But for now, it's still pretty big. He has a continuous enter abilities of cards your opponent controls don't trigger. This has gained a new level of power recently. With all enter abilities being added to this enter ability. My word. The power. No enter abilities on a J ruler. Can you even imagine that? That is so evil it's coming out of his pores. He also has an activate ability on this side. No resting this time. 0. Target Resonator or Addition loses all abilities until end of turn. Play this ability up to twice per turn. Twice. That's pretty good. Being able to wipe a Resonator's abilities are typically found on cantrips. So having it for free twice in a turn is actually really nice. Especially, and then being able to use it twice on your opponent's turn as well. It can stack up And the fact that you can hit additions as well means you can get rid of those pesky mana additions, things like that. Or, what are they? The Wind Secluded Refuge, or the City of Mirage is the new one. Ooh, I hate those. But he can deal with them lickety-split, as we say in the biz. But let's move on to his support, starting with the Resonators. The evil Resonators of Darkness. Starting with, of course, the Darkness Wizard. This guy saw printing in Vingolf 3, so you might not be familiar with him. He is 1 darkness for a 200/200 Resonator Wizard. Rest, produce darkness. Spend this will only to play chants. Whenever you play a darkness chant, you may put the top card of your deck into your graveyard. All the wizards had this, except the green guy. But they all had rest, produce their color, play it on chants. As part of the cycle, his ability whenever you play a darkness chant is not the best. However, you can make use of it just by thinning your deck and seeing things in your graveyard and bringing them back and that sort of thing. He's very good for Reanimator, especially if you have more than one. But what are you spending that will on, I wonder? We'll see after we get into his onslaught of demon resonators. Aside from a little ramp that you might be running for various reasons, let's get into them. Starting with Neatheart, the Demon Knight. A 500/500 demon/knight for 2 darkness. Continuous. This card cannot be targeted by light spells or light cards' abilities, and prevent all damage that would be dealt to this card by light cards. Very useful against Zero. Very, very useful against Zero. Because he is protected from not only light spells such as Zero's Magic Light or Miscalculation, he's also immune to the damage a J-Ruler can deal, as long as it's light. That's right, eat your heart out, Lumia. But enough about my petty grievances. Let's move on to the next demon. Laplacia, the Demon of Fate. 2 darkness and 1 for a 700/700. Decent body. Continuous, your opponent plays with the top card of his or her main deck revealed. Also continuous, you may look at the top card of your main deck at any time. Then she has an activate ability. Put the top card of your main deck and the top card of your opponent's main deck into their owner's graveyard. She allows you to see into the future both for your deck and your opponent's. And if they're about to draw the one card that can screw you, top decking be damned, you can get rid of it. Very useful as a resonator, in my opinion. But sometimes she gets destroyed, which is why Demon Captain Elegos has your back. A resonator demon for 2 darkness and 2, attack 800, defense 800, flying. When this card enters your field, put target demon resonator with total cost 3 or less from your graveyard into your field. She brings back your endless horde of demons once they have already served you. A very, very good thing in my opinion. But usually a one-of in this deck. But you'll see why. Next we have the classic Demon Angel hybrid. Fallen Angelic Destroyer, Lucifer. He originally saw a reprint, but we don't talk about that. No, not at all. This is the cooler version. A 900/900 Angel Demon, flying. When this card enters your field, your opponent banishes a resonator. As well, 1 darkness and 1 moon. Whenever this card deals damage this turn, you gain that much life. Play this ability only once per turn. Later on, we would get a card that could give itself flying, or could give itself this ability multiple times over. But hey, as he was at the time, he was great. And even now, making your opponent banish a resonator, very powerful. Not to mention 900 life gain in the air. It's not bad. Keep you alive for more. eviling. But that's not even the strongest demon. The king of demons, the tyrant of all, Mephistopheles, the abyssal tyrant. 2 darkness and 2 resonator demon, attack 1500 defense as well. Flying, target attack, that's precision for those of you new people. Continuous. When this card becomes targeted by spells or abilities your opponent controls, he or she loses 500 life. So they can't even remove him without consequence. It's even better if they're not killing him with their card and more of shutting him down for a turn. It's beautiful. He always has the last laugh. Unfortunately, he's a bit of an egotist. So he also has continuous. At the end of your turn, banish another resonator you control. This happens every turn without fail. So if you have another resonator, you're going to lose it. However, because it says another, he doesn't care about himself. So he'll sit on your field. If you have other stuff, you're gonna lose it. But you don't care, because you have 15/15 flying for 4. That's amazing. It is utterly amazing. Especially when you combine it with Abdul's pinnacle card, his great work, his summoning art of Alhazred. 2 darkness for a spell chant. That's just a chant for you new people. Search your main deck for a demon resonator. Reveal it and put it in your hand. Then shuffle your main deck. If your J ruler is Ebony Prophet or Abdul Alhazred, the Harbinger of Despair, you may pay 2 darkness less to play cards with the same name as the card you searched until end of turn. So let's say you have 4 will. You can play this. Go ahead and grab your Mephistopheles and play him for 2. Or if you have 6 will and a Mephistopheles in hand, you can drop an art, get a Mephistopheles, then play them one from your hand and the one you just searched, both for 2, because it's cards with the same name until end of turn. So, Demon Rush is pretty cool. Especially if you have multiple neat hearts. You can just drop everyone in your hand because he costs 2 darkness. This card is without a doubt amazing. It allows you to summon your army of demons and evil things. Now, if you're not Abdul, you're probably not running it, because it's useless. Searching for a demon is okay, but it's not worth spending 2 and getting no other benefit. There are better cards that you could play. But with Abdul it becomes super awesome. Effectively, you put 4 of this in your deck, then you have an additional 4 copies of every other thing, so you can even run one-ofs, like the Elagos that I talked about, and not care. And also, later game, as I pointed out, you can drop a whole host of demons out of nowhere. Pretty cool in my opinion. Pretty cool. But his backup, things that I would use to support him, they were, aside from the standards like stoning to death, maybe some green for some cancel, I would run 2 cards. The first of which is a newer card, Look of Corruption. Look at your opponent's hand, choose a card with total cost 4 or less, they discard that card. If this card was awakened, also choose a card with total cost 5 or more, they discard that card. For 1 darkness, this chant is quite great and can affect your opponent immensely, especially if awakened. Admittedly, its awakening requires them to be a deck that plays large things, but with how powerful, with how powerful, the card that lets you play the, Spinning Myths, with how powerful Spinning Myths is at the moment. And believe me, it's strong. My butt still hurts from the beating. It can give you some serious value. Also, the second card I would run is not a chant, it's an addition. Book of Iban. 2 darkness and 1 for an addition field. Relic. They never did anything with relics, so it doesn't matter. When this card enters your field, put target resonator from a graveyard into your field. When this card leaves your field, banish the resonator put into your field by this card. So, it's got 2 functions. It hits, it enters, brings the resonator back. When it leaves, that resonator, kaput, out the door. However, if you're playing Abdul and you have him on his other side, you can strip it of its abilities so that weakness no longer exists, and the resonator is no longer tied to an addition. I believe that is all for today. Oh, I'm forgetting the most important card of all. His stone. Gruus Ballesta, the Sealing Stone. Activate Rest, produce Darkness. Activate 1 Darkness and Rest. Target J Resonator gains plus 0, minus 200 until end of turn. God, that was hard to get out. It also has Continuous. When you control 2 or more true magic stones of the same name, banish all but one of them. All the true magic stones have that ability. So, the special magic stone / true magic stone, yes. Not much to say about it. It adds darkness. It allows Abdul to flip very early, potentially turn 2 and be in 1,000 wreck your opponent. Pretty cool. Especially getting rid of the enter effects. Also prevents them from playing something big and enormous and brutal. And being able to strip abilities is even better. But its minus 200 is pretty relevant, especially if you're just holding all your will up. Then before recovery, just like Abdul, you hit something, then you hit it again, and then you hit it with Abdul, minus 700. And if you happen to have, like, Abdul up, that's minus, 1,000? Minus 1,000? No, it's minus 600, minus 1,000. Yes. Pretty powerful. That, I believe, does it for this round of darkness. We have learned many evil things today with our Book of Darkness. Praise be to all that is dark, and have a good day.